didn't mean to cut it all the way off. What's up? Welcome back, gang. I am here, and I'm looking at the fucking cut in my mustache, dude. It's crucial. I am the best anime MC or villain. Just depends. But, yeah, I need to check out my scar underneath there. I bet that shit looks badass. We're here because we have the TCB scans for One Piece. Let me go ahead and turn on my phone just so I can check the audio and the volume, make sure everything's good. I'm not busting your ears because we are going to do the live read. And remember, when I do the live read, you don't get to see these early scans just because we do know the official drop of the manga on Sunday from Shonen Jump Viz Media typically tends to be different than what we read in the TCB scans, not by a lot, but there are some differences. So I want you to only see the actual version that is put out globally everywhere officially. So I'll read and describe this to you guys. Let me go ahead and make this post. But how are you guys doing? Thank you guys for joining me. It is in the afternoon. There's a lot. Stay tuned on this channel if you're not following. And let me just clear this up. This is Edge 2 Gaming for Twitch, Kick, Facebook, YouTube. But this, where the manga and the anime, where you can get 30, almost 40 plus years of anime knowledge, manga knowledge, and experience, is right here on Edge 2 Otaku. So with that being said, I will always give you One Piece manga. But as you will see and have seen, we have Anime Marathon Mondays, which on Monday around noon starts for Kick Kill Hitman Reborn. We watched 10 episodes. We watched 11 this week because the stream messed up. And then I have been covering the series that have been catching my eye. Frierin's Season 2. I've been saying Season 3 incorrectly, but Season 2. Uraiden Shinden Samurai Troopers came back. I'm watching that. I'm also watching Sins to be a Hero and Trigun. It's not Stampede this time. It is Stargaze. And I'm actually watching Trigun, the original, back just to put it all together because there's some prequel backstory shit. There's stuff that's going on now. There's stuff that they're heading towards. And I hope we get another Trigun season. I really do. I love Trigun. It has been one of those series, just like Cowboy Bebop, that I can fall asleep to. I know the whole soundtrack. I just listen to it while I'm doing whatever. It is fucking amazing. Let's see. There we go. Everybody should be in live now. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's go ahead and dive right into this chapter. It is a 17-page chapter, so it's not too long, but we get a ton of shit. There, well, what I heard, because, you know, I had to listen to my boy Sai, another OK Oklahoma. I was going to say OKC. I'm not going to give away his location, but another OK streamer here who has covered it. And then also Dawn and Dust channel. Remember that I have links to not only One Piece content creators that I enjoy to follow and I interact with online, but also native speakers, because the kanji, katakana, hanakana, like all of it together is a very complex system. It's different than English. So what you may think you understand, you may not at all. It may be a misinterpretation, even if it is translated, because Viz Media fucks up from time to time. Oh, and if you know where the music in the background comes from, let me know, because you could win something special from me. And if you have not seen it, because you have not been in any of the streams, let's preface it this way. Size large in the legs. This is for all my lifters. If you have knee issues, I had a meniscus repair surgery. It gives me issues from time to time. I'm working through it. Knee sleeves help. These are haiku knee sleeves. So if you're an anime fan and you're large in the legs, go ahead, let me know what video game or anime the music in the background's from. If you're right, you could win. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this chapter. So One Piece chapter 1173, a generation of warriors. We see Usopp's nose. There's honey on the ground. There's a book open with different beetles or animals, And yeah, beetles, and he has honey on his nose, and Chopper is holding onto a tree, licking his lip because Chopper loves sweets and he wants to eat the honey. And a beetle is flying towards Usoff's nose as his eyes are closed and he's smiling. This is a cover request by Saito. Usoff covering his nose with honey as a lure to catch a rhinoceros beetle. I don't know where this shit comes from. These motherfuckers are weird. I mean, it's fine. I just don't know why you would want that. We start off this fucking chapter. The we're not even gonna say old, the giant warrior pirates that have been transformed, Domi-Reversed towering over Elbaf giants, and Geralt with his sword in his hand, and they say, "Kill Geralt!" And it says, "The demonic army advances." Then we see a pumped up Dorry Brogy, and right now I have not only gone back and reread Little Garden, but I just finished Alabasta, and we are on the Nox stream right now. We just evaded fucking Blackbeard on his shitty ass raft. But thinking about Dorry and Brogy and their whole battle and everything the Straw Hats learned from them and where we are in Elbaf now, seeing them towering over their homeland, they were gone from over 100 years. Elbaf here, getting ready to fucking strike down on Geralt is fucking crazy, because Geralt looks at him, he says, "Dorry Brogy, it's unthinkable to see you like this," as he holds his sword. Oh, see, he's hyping up Kylo. Then we see, okay, he's gone now. We see Zoro with Hydruden and Stanton running towards behind the demonic giants, and Hydruden says, "What's the plan of yours, Roronoa, Zoro?" And Zoro says, "First things first, is it okay if I cut those guys down?" And Hydruden says, "It is, but we're up against the entire giant warrior crew. So this is just Dorry and Brogy's entire crew, not any of the other giants of Elbaf." Then Stanton says, "Saving Elder Geralt is our top priority, but these warriors have all earned our respect. Try to spare their pride at least." And then we see two towering over them laughing. Hyruden, Stanson, they say. And another one just exclamation marks as they turn. They're getting ready to strike them down. And then Hyruden says, "We've been spotted." Stanson says, "Don't let them surround us." And then they start to cackle. One says, "Hey, did you finish your quest to unite all the giants of the world?" The other one says, "Yeah, right, by now they have to know that that's never going to happen." And then Stanson and Hyruden, we've seen them angry before, but we have not seen them this fucking angry, because all it says is snap. We see veins popping out of their cheeks, and then both Stanson and Hyruden say, "Go for it, Roronoa. Fuck them up. Fuck them niggas up right now." We see Zoro says, "Okay, brothers, you got it. Okay, brothers. Okay, brothers, you got it." He jumps off Hyruden's shoulder, and then we see Stanton and Hyruden yelling, "Yay! I see you won't get trapped between them if you approach from above. Yaga-ga-ga," Hyruden says. "Clever move." Then we see Zoro still soaring over them as Stanson and Hyruden part ways as one of the giants smashes his sword down in between them. Hyruden says, "Stanson, let's circle around them from the sides," and Stanson says, "Roger that, Hyruden." Then we see Zoro hopping off their heads, and they're like, "Huh? Hey!" Then he hits one last giant, knocks the helmet forward, boom, right high above the giants, and he's looking down upon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them circling him, almost like Levi in the pit of fucking titans. And then they say, "Above us, that tiny puny human." And then Zoro says, "Santoryu, 3 sword style secret technique." And then we see some kind of hockey. And then he says, "Crossings of the 6th path." And we hear, "Yah!" And we see a slew of giants, more than the 5 that were surrounding him. Blood, tridents, axes flying, smashed, hockey, and then boom. "Yah! Yah!" They're yelling. And then Stanton says, "That's Roronoa for you." Then he sees Dorry and Brogy. Or I guess they shift and they look up at Zoro as he's still in the air. And then they said, "Roronoa!" Both of them roaring, eyes lighting up. And then we see Zoro, just like he did in Wano, pull 2 swords back. He says, "Dorry Brogy," boom, hits the air. knocks himself out of the way, and then Dorry says, "Unbelievable," and Dorry and Brogy clash. Brogy's axe goes straight through Dorry's chest and his shield. Dorry's sword. See, I'm getting confused right now just trying to say him. Brogy, big beard. The big beard, you know who it is, the one that was crying in the wax. He slices across through Dorry's chest and shield. Dorry, on the other hand, with his sword, slices down through Brogy's shoulder and his shield. Now, this was my question. Being Domi-Reversed, they will heal. But did Brogy's initial injury from Imu before Imu turned him heal? I don't know. I'm ready to see that. But they hit each other. And then Zoro's like, huh? And then we see, I guess the clash was, had a shockwave to it. I don't see any hockey on the panel, but you got to believe it does with the level of power they have now. Chief Gerald says, Dorry Brogy. And they say, Chiefs. Or no, someone says Chiefs, and they're both, blood spurting out. And then we shift over to my boy Brook, face down on the floor, ass up, huff, huff, and it says branch 8, Brook's location. On a branch by himself, booty in the air, flames behind him, a monster coming from behind. I mean, it's off in the background, it's not coming from behind, but he's like, pant. And then we see 3 dots. He says, Princess Shuri! He yells across from the branch to Gimu in the air. Tail, demon tail, wings, fucking black trident in the hand. He says, you there, are you Princess Shuri? And then Gimu looks over and zooms in with that Hawkeye, me Hawkeye. And Brook goes, as he's looking, he says, I can't see how you could possibly be her. I'm certain it's impossible, but it's hard to deny. It's hard to deny you're her spitting image, so I have to make sure. He continues to yell. Gimu sitting there silent, looking. And Brook, it pans out, and you see like this little speck on the branch, and it's still Brook yelling towards Gimu with flames behind her and a fucking slug monster in the background. He says, even if you aren't the princess, surely you must be of her blood. If the princess were alive today, she would be nearing 80 by now. Of course, she wouldn't recognize me, given how much I've changed. Continue, Brook, still wrapped up, says, and yet those features, the blue hair, the mismatched eye color, and a connection to the Holy Land. Plus, you're fond of my music. It's supposed to be, plus you're fond of my music too, aren't you? Every single detail is a perfect match. Princess Shuri. And then he yells, and you see the intensity in Brook's bony ass face. He says, I had hoped I'd go the rest of my life without ever having to think about you again. I owed everything to the man whose life you took, my patriarchal princess. And then you see Gimu start to flinch, and you see, and then all of a sudden, Gimu closes the eyes, making one of the angry Nami faces, and then you see Imu inside, or you'll just see Imu's head or eye, and then you see Imu's face inside of Gunko's head. It's like, Gunko, are thy memories beginning to return? And Imu's like, ugh. Gunko grunts again, and then all of a sudden opens her eyes wide, and she says, Brook, you have to run, as she puts her right hand out, and one of the arrows unspirals, and it goes getting ready to strike Brook. And he looks, but he doesn't get stricken. The arrows that were binding him, just like the arrow unspirals on her arm, unspirals from around him. We see, it says, look, it's wiggling. The arrow that was straight and leading the kid starts to wiggle. You don't see anybody regaining their movements. They're still walking forward. But then you see, boom, Brook tumbles forward out of the arrows. I'm free. And then Imu says, Gunko, thou attempts to move on thine own will. And then Gunko says, Brook, I'm, boom, back twitches again, back arched, not in a good way. She yells, and Brook is looking from the branch, and all of a sudden he says, Drat, my leg got stuck again, as the arrows start to tighten around his leg. And then we see, why did you tell me to run? I came to settle this matter. Now, who are you? He stands up, or he's still sitting on his ass, but he turns and yells, and then Gunko glares at him from the side, pissed as shit. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with the trident, double hand, shut thy mouth. Who art thou to Gunko? Boom, as she tries to pierce Brook. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Because out of nowhere, because I'm looking at Brook's back. So yeah, he had a shield and a sword. He removes his cane sword and blocks the fucking trident with his shield. Then we skip. Branch 8, Usopp's group. Woo! We're finally free! Usopp stands up, hand in the air, skinny as fuck. Does not look like after 2-year time skip at all. That's all I'm saying. He says, my mind powers did the trick. You see? And then Jinbei says, those arrows came loose for a moment. What happened? Then we see all the Straw Hats. We see Nami frantically trying to help Robin get undone from the thorns. Jinbei sitting there with his hands. He brings water in his left hand. We see Usopp trying to do mind powers and has his hands in the air, which is fucking retarded, but I love it. Ange is like far off in the background running. And then as we look at this panel, there's some MMA flying in the background, and Nami says, Robin's restraints are different. We have to get these thorns off her. And then Robin says, forgive me, Nami. Focus on the children. Then we hear, I saw Ange slip away earlier, but I doubt she'll make it in time. West Village is way too far, Jinbei says. But we see Ange running her fucking ass off. Sai, you should not have doubted her. Just because she doesn't look like Ripley does not mean she's not trustworthy. Then we hear Nami Swan with the little heart, and she says, Sanji-kun. Then we switch to Branch 8 near West Village, close to the port. We see the children still walking, but the arrow is not as straight and rigid as it was before. We see thorns in the background. We see MMAs fighting in the background and new giant pirates covered by flames. And we see Sommers laughing. Yeah, keep moving, you brats. The finish line is just over there. And then Colin says, you're one of them demons Elder Gerald mentioned, aren't you? We'll make you pay for this. Elbaf is really strong, you'll see. And remember, Colin was the only motherfucker that tried to kill Luffy when they came to Elbaf. He hit him with a wooden sword, but it broke. Luffy broke that shit. Colin came down full swing, was like, you're really warriors. So again, his daddy is Scopper Gaban, his mama's Ripley, one of the giant warrior pirates. All he knows is how to be a warrior. But we see Sommers sitting on a thorn because the thorn snake is riding beside him with his arms crossed. Or if I'm in the fuck out of this panel, legs crossed. He goes, moron, you know all about how strong giants are. That's why we're after you. You're Gaban's kid, right? And she says, Colin says, I'd shut up and unwrap these thorns if I were you. Then we see the arrow straighten all the way back up, and the kids continue to stiffen. He says, yeah, let us go. I can't remember who's behind Colin, but I think it's not Elder Gerald's kin. I don't know whose kid it is. Some little girl. And then Colin says, I dare you to face us like a warrior. And then Sommers says, yeah, you're a real hoot. It's way too late for that. And he continues to laugh. He's like, look, I can already see the harbor. Say goodbye to your homeland. This is the last time you'll ever see it. Just like a piece of shit. We see the arrow leading all the way down and up into one of the ships that they've already stolen. And then they're like, what? No way. You mean I'll never see Ma and Pa again? And then another child says, I don't want to. I don't want that. Someone help us. And then we hear, hello, great one. Killingham and I are about to complete our task. Who's with Killingham? Who the fuck was with Killingham? I'm dying to go home already, but do you have any more bidding for me to attend to first? Okay, maybe this is Sommers. Okay. Sommers' task was to help Gunko with the kids. Killingham, his task was to burn down the school and shit. So somebody's talking over a radio. Maybe it is Sommers to Emu. It says, hello, great one. Killingham and I are about to complete our task. Yeah, it has to because she took over Gunko, so yeah. I'm dying to go home already, but do you have any more bidding for me to attend to? And then we hear, Colin! We see the giant parent running, dust cloud, looking like Pigpen towards the kids, towards Sommers on his thorn snake. Liv, Olaf! And then he says, how'd they get here? Weren't the Dream Demon's meant to stop them. And then we see Ripley, Oimo, and other giants running and say, "Mommy, it's my mom," and the others, the kids say, and says, "Grandpa Oimo." And then we see the little girl that was crying behind Colin. "Wait, above you, watch out." And then they say, "It's Nika." A sword comes from the sky, hitting the middle of the branch, cutting back, separating the kids from the giants. The kids' eyes are popping out of their head and said, "The god of destruction." Then we see the kids looking over their right shoulder. "Mom, everyone run." And then Nika says, "From this Nika? Don't be silly. You're underestimating us. We come from a generation of warriors." And what we see is Nika's hovering over above the giants, and they're talking from underneath because the kids can't see them. And then when they say, "We come from a generation of warriors," boom, we see maces, we see swords cutting Nika in half. Ripley is at the head of them, axe out, looking like fucking Scopper Gabon, her husband, knocking Nika back. And then the kids are like, "Oh, they're so strong," because Colin knew about warriors, but he ain't never seen them. The other kids are all about learning. They don't know about warriors, so their eyes are popping out of their head. And then Nika, knocked back, looks, glares, and then starts to boom, stab over and over, trying to kill him. And then we see Gerd, Goldberg, and Road. "Hey guys, the kids are there. We won't make it even if we sprint." And we see Gerd pull back with her sword, Goldberg pull back with his mace. And then Gerd says, "Let's do it, Goldberg." He goes, "Right, 2 generals." And then Rhodes says, "Wait, let me join in with his sword." He said, "I'll save you, little brother." And they turn around, look at Nika and says, 3 generals. And then we see a fucking huge blast. Koukoku Sovereignty. From where they're standing, blast straight through Nika, obliterating the fucking center of Nika as he yells with the sword in his hand, flying forward. Then we see, Nika is falling off to the side towards Saint Saturn, who is on his thorn snake. He says, "Hey, back off before you crush me." Makes his thorn sword bigger. Bam! Smacks fucking the Nika MMA. And then you see it go off and over, and bam, crashes into the ship and smashes it. And Sommers goes, "The ship? Oh shit." And then we get the end. The game takes another unexpected turn. So even if the kids go to where the ships were, they're going to go into the clouds. And maybe this is like Skypiea, because right now Usopp got into the cloud sea and started to swim and fell through and got captured by a sea monster. So maybe that happens to the kids. Maybe they continue, they go down to the underworld. Maybe they're trapped. We don't know. But these are your TCB scans for One Piece. The official chapter will be out on Sunday. I'm excited about this. I want to see what keywords are changed, because we get Hiruden and Stanson here having an actual conversation, showing their respect for the warrior pirates and talking about the ship. But then after they make fun of Hiruden's goal, what his whole crew amassed for, like, fuck is Zoro, fuck them motherfuckers up. I want to make sure this is the official name for Zoro's attack. And what we read was he slices the giants on the head to stop them. But that's not what happened. He just slashes them from above with these crossings of the 6th path. Now, I have a huge theory based on all of this and what's been coming out. Domi-Reversed, again, you heard me say Nika's actual fruit and emus are opposites. Emu, all the pictures with the plushy emu, I think emu's ink. And Emu writes these stories. But also, we know that the Jolly Roger was made by a Roger, aka a devil or a demon. Then we have these contracts, these deep sea contracts that lead to demon abilities. And Nika's white form, I have only seen one other person, maybe 2, that is awakened with maybe white around them, but I don't even know. It's not the same as Luffy's. His white form is unique, and it got me thinking about Rubber, and then Ryzen, and then Erasers. So I have this huge theory, ties into Bink Saki, the lyrics being a warning, Emu, Luffy, hockey, the contracts, the Jolly Roger skull and crossbones, things that were said on Drum Island back in the day. So stay tuned for that. Let's just go through this chapter. Anything else? What are your predictions, thoughts? Leave them in the comments. Put them on YouTube. Where you think this is going? We got a lot of exposition from Brook talking about the princess. He thought it was her. He wanted to confirm it. If not, she should be 80 years old now because he's like 92, almost 100. Her features, she killed his benefactor. She killed his Shanks, and he don't trust her. But whatever happened, this is going to be another misunderstanding. She had to kill her dad, and that's probably when Emu took her over, because the other theory is if Emu, we've talked about Shamrocks possibly being forced to do things. Sommers seems like a piece of shit. Gunko is a princess, but Loki's a prince, but they're not of the Holy Land. So obviously you do not have to be of celestial blood. You can get adopted into that family. Like Gunko's now Gunko Manmeyer, which if she's Princess Shuri, she wasn't a Manmeyer because Brook's benefactor, whoever he worked for, that's her name. Same thing with Loki. I don't know what family Loki would have been adopted into, but Shanks' daddy, since Celestials don't believe humans are humans, they're below that, he didn't expect to go out on a mission and end up finding God Valley and then fucking Shanks and Shamrock's mom. So those are his legitimate kids, but maybe the other Knights of God aren't like that. Maybe they're just inherited, or it's a mix. Maybe there are smart celestial dragons that make it, and then they go out in the world and pick princes and princesses and kings, because Luffy's crew is damn near made up all of princes or inheritors of a specific lineage. So Brook, we get more backstory from them right now. Him and Gimu are facing off, so that means, and that's crazy, we've seen the drums of liberation make the sea dance, make the ship, make Dorry and Brogy and them start dancing. If Luffy gets up here, because we still haven't seen him, and he goes Gear 5, is everybody going to start dancing? And will that be intensified by Brook? Because we've seen Brook's music can affect the soul. Brook's ability can affect the soul. Brook cut Prometheus and oh boy, Zeus, because he can do that. He can cut souls. He went to the underworld. He knows how to control souls. Between Brook and Luffy, he can change and save Shuri and also break the ties. And I think this is also hinting at a new transformation for Luffy, a new gear that allows him to erase or change the Domi-Reversed pieces back. Because Bonnie can do it because she saw Luffy. But Luffy making all the Straw Hat Pirates and all the people, liberating them and making them as free as possible and putting them in the white form to erase everything that Emu's doing as he subjugates people into Domi-Reversed and changes their thoughts. But we do know if the contract is fucked up, people can regain their thoughts. And Brook talking to Shuri and being a musician and his soul being projected as he's tied up, I think that helps shake Gunko to break free of Emu. And then you see Emu's struggling. Emu's not all powerful. That's why Emu doesn't leave Mary Joa. Emu has to have a tight hold on people. So I digress. Usopp is being a fucking dork here, as I don't fucking get this Usopp. Yes, it's a little bit of relief, but even Chopper stepped up. I'm like, I need to figure out how to kill these niggas, right? And Scopper Gaban's the only one who knows how to do it. He's fixing them. He's making sure Sanji's being careful with them. And Usopp got his hands in the air. My mind powers worked. Nigga, these are your senseis. This is where you want to go. Save fucking Elbaf, right? Angie's even fucking running her ass off. Jinbei ain't really doing much either. Nami is trying to fucking tear Sommer's thorns off of Robin. So I need Usopp to step up. I need Jinbei to save these branches, put these fucking fires out instead of just stand around. I need to know what Frankie's doing with Bonnie and Vegapunk. So the kids, I don't know where they're going to go now. Sommers has to contact Gimu and give him new orders to try to find another's fall. The giant parents and Oimo did a good job. They didn't really get fucked up. The Nika tried to attack him again, but then the three generals fucked it up and took out Nika. So we're going to get more from the new Giant Warrior Pirates to see how strong they are. Gerd, Goldberg, and Roto fucked up the Giant Nika MMA. Stanton, Hiruden over there with Zoro fucking up basically their original crew, the crew they based themselves off of. Chief Jarrell's over there as well. Luffy and Loki, we don't know where they are. They're getting ready to come. And Brook is fighting Gimu by him fucking self while the Straw Hats are trying to figure out what the fuck to do. So, yeah. And Sommers about to get his ass chewed. Probably about to get taken completely over by Emu. But these are your TCB scans. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll be back Sunday with more on One Piece as we get the official scans and the official read and see the official names of the attacks, see what is specifically said by Emu inside Gunko's head, what is said specifically to Gunko from Brook to give more context to their backstory, and also Hiruden and Stanton showing that respect, but what specifically of their dream was made fun of. I mean, they don't think that he's going to unify all the Giants, but is there anything else said from their predecessors? And I love Zoro said, "Okay, brothers." I want to see what Zoro said, because Zoro got up there, bing, 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 knocked them motherfuckers down, evaded Dorry Brogy. It's live in Elbaf right now. I'm loving the Elbaf art. Thanks for the follow, PBC. I appreciate it so much. And catch me in the next one. Turn on your notifications. I'm Elijah 5000. This is Edge 2 Otaku, your place for anime and manga each and every week. Live streams right here on Twitch and Kick. Facebook. YouTube won't allow us to do the full episode, so come here for that and continue to watch Samurai Troopers, Trigun, Stargaze, Frieren, and Sense to be a Hero, as well as Kikkyo Hitman Reborn, and hear more about One Piece and other anime and manga that you love. Also, the Pod OKC. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube. And I've been streaming God of War Ragnarok and Resident Evil 2 Remake. It has been fun as shit, so follow me over there. Thank you guys so much. Elijah 5000, and I will catch you in the next one. Remember, if you can name the soundtrack, whether it's video game, anime, whatever, you get to win these nice knee sleeves. Thank you, and I will catch you next time. Peace.